Good afternoon, my dear students. For this afternoon or for these lessons, we are going to learn about the effects of concentrations on the colligative properties of A solutions. So, what are the colligative properties? Well, it says right here that colligative properties are the properties of a solutions that depends upon on the concentration of solute molecules or the ions, but not upon the identity of the solute. Colligative properties include vapor pressure, lowering, boiling point elevation, freezing point, depression, and also the osmotic pressure. That depends on the amount of the dissolved solid particles in the solutions. So what does it mean? So let's suppose to have two beakers here. In each one of these beakers has some sort of a dissolved salt in it, and this one has some salt and in this one has some sugars. And we know from the prior experience that when we put salt and water and sugar and water, they dissolve when you stir them up and dissolve, right? What happens to the boiling point, or what happens to the freezing point of aqueous solutions when you place them in the water? What we're going to learn is that when you place a dissolved soluble in water, it's going to increase and it's going to increase the boiling point. Okay, the boiling point of A solutions, and it's going to decrease, so the freezing point of the solutions here is going to decrease. So normally we know that water has a freezing point of 0 degrees Celsius right there. A freezing point of the H2O normally 0 degrees Celsius, assuming we are sea level and the boiling point of the water. At the sea level or at 1 atmosphere, pressure is 100 degrees Celsius. So if we take a look here, we dissolve something in the water, either salt or the sugars or anything for that matter. It is going to increase the boiling point. So this solution is no longer going to boil at 100 degrees Celsius. It's going to boil a little bit higher, and how much higher depends on how much of this stuff we put in it. And at the same time, with the freezing point. Okay, so the freezing point of water is normally 0 degrees Celsius. However, when we start dissolve stuff in it, whether it be a salt or a sugar, so the ionic compounds or the polar covalent compounds, the freezing point is going to decrease. So this solution is no longer going to freeze at the 0 degrees Celsius. It might freeze at that negative 5 degrees Celsius or the negative 6 degrees Celsius, depending on how much dissolves so you in the solutions. So the colligative properties are the properties of a solutions that depends on the amount of dissolved solid particles in the solutions. So the boiling point and the freezing point of these guys really depends not on the chemical makeup of these substances, but how many dissolved particles are in the solutions. Okay, so the more dissolved particles you have, the higher the boiling point and the lower the freezing point. So it's important to understand that colligative properties do not depend on the type of the chemical species presence in it. Rather, they depend on how many dissolved particles are in that solutions. And in this little video, we're going to focus our attentions on the boiling point and the freezing point. Okay, but understand that colligative properties are the properties of a solution. The more dissolved particles you have, such as vapor pressures and as molar pressures, that depends on the amount of the dissolved solid particles in the solution. So let's take a look at a couple examples here. We have 3 beakers of water here, and in this beaker here we have some sugars that we're going to dissolve in here. So what we're going to do is we put some sugar in here, and we're going to stir it up, and we're going to dissolve in it. Okay, so and we're going to throw some sodium chloride and table salt, and here we're going to stir it up and it's going to dissolve. And last but not the least, we're going to put some potassium sulfide in here. What we're going to do is to stir up and it's going to dissolve. Okay, and the question that I want to ask, in which one of this will have the greatest difference in the boiling point, and which one of these guys will have the greatest difference in the freezing point? So well, the possible answer to that questions, what we first needed is to look at is whether or not the substance is polar or the ionic. Okay, that plays a big role in determining these questions or the answering the questions. So, if we take a look at sugar, we talked about sugar earlier. So, this unit as being a polar covalent bond. So, the sugar on the first figure, it is a polar molecule. So, when we put sugar in the water, it does not dissociate. Okay, it's not going to break apart. So when you put this substance in the water, it stays intact. Okay, it is still dissolved because of the hydrogen bonds between the oxygen and the hydrogen here. So however, it is going to dissociate. Okay, so that is what polar compounds or the polar molecules will look like. And when you put them in the water, these two guys, this salt here, in this salts here, we learned from the prior or the earlier video. So, matagal na natin na pag ano to. That when you place this in the water, they dissolve. So, they break apart into the ions that makes up them. Okay, the hot ions and the anions. The process of losing and gaining electrons. So, when we put this salt in the water, it's going to break apart into a bunch of sodium ions and a bunch of the chloride ions. So in this figure. Okay. Okay, and it's going to dissociate into a bunch of potassium ions and a bunch of sulfide ions. Okay, but let's take a look at what happens. Let's suppose I have 1 mole of sodium chloride and I put this in this water right here. It's going to dissolve and dissociate, and when it associates, what's end up happening is it produces 2 molecules of dissolved particles. Okay, so ayun, kita nyo naman po dyan. Okay, so whereas over here, if I have 1 mole of sugars and I dissolve in this water, I still end up with 1 mole of dissolved particles. Okay, so to understand that concept, when something dissociates, it breaks apart. So 1 bowl of a salt is going to end up producing 2 molecules of dissolved particles. And we take a look at this right here at the potassium. Okay, potassium dun sa dulo. So if I put this in the water, it's going to dissociate. Okay, and it have 1 mole of this. It's going to dissociate and produce 3 moles of dissolved particles. That's all right here. Okay, so the 2 moles of potassium ions and 1 mole of sulfide. Yes, okay, so this is an important concept to understand. So if I were to ask you which one of these guys, or which one of these solutions here is going to have the greatest effects on the boiling points and the freezing points of the solution, it's going to be this, because there are 3 moles of dissolved particles. Which one will have least effect on it? Boiling point or the freezing point, it's going to be this sugar, because there's only 1 mole of dissolved particles. So it is an important concept to understand that if something dissociates, if an anionic compound dissolves, it's going to dissociate. Okay, it's going to break apart. It's going to produce more moles, and therefore it's going to have more of an effect on the boiling point and the freezing point of that solutions compared to a polar substance. So let's take a look of how we can calculate change in the boiling points and change in the freezing points depending on the amount of the dissolved substance and that solutions. So alright, if we take a look at this example, okay, so if we took a look at this formula here, what we're looking at this is looking at the formula that allows us to determine the change in a solutions. A boiling point, okay. All right, so to calculate the change in the boiling point of a solution is simple. We take the boiling point constant of water, which is 0.512 degrees Celsius per this lowercase m here, which means the molality of the solutions, which we learned in our previous discussions. We then multiply it by the molality of the solutions, and then we multiply it by this right here. I is the Venn-High factor. You can think of this as the number of the particles and substance will dissociate into, and we're going to use this specifically for the ionic compounds or the electrolytes. So let's take a look at these examples, and hopefully you can catch on this example here of a 0.5 molal aqueous solution of a sodium chloride. So we're going to assume so we're at the sea level, so pressure doesn't come into play here. So to calculate the change, we want to calculate we first want to calculate, or we want to calculate the boiling point of the solutions. In order to do that, we must find the change in the boiling point in the temperature. So to do that here, to get the delta T, and we need to change into the boiling point of the solutions. Here we take, since we're dealing with the water, here it says as aqueous solutions, right? It says it's aqueous solutions. We take this boiling point constant of the water, 0.512 degrees Celsius over the lowercase m stands for the molality. Okay, we're then going to multiply this by the molality of the solutions. Well, it says right here the molality of the solutions is this right here. Okay, so the molality is 1.5 m, and last but not the least, we need to multiply this by the Venn-High factor. And let's think about this. If I put this in the water, it's going to dissociate, and if it dissociates, it's going to break apart into two different ions, right? So the Venn-High factor here is going to be 2. So we'll multiply this by 2, and we'll get our calculator out here, and we end up in with 1.5. So as you can see on the PowerPoint presentation or in this video, 1.5 degrees Celsius. So this isn't our final answer. So this is not our final answer. This is just a change in the solutions of the boiling point. All right, we know that water normally boils. The boiling point of the water is normally 100 degrees Celsius at the sea level, and so we need to add this 1.5 to it, and we will end up with 101.5 degrees Celsius. So what will the boiling point of point be? A 1.5 molal aqueous solutions of sodium chloride, assuming that we are at the sea level. So it look like this water or this solution. Okay, the solution of salt water is going to boil at the temperature of 101.5, right? So the boiling point has been changed by the temperature of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's take a look at these examples here below. What if we have the same molality here? We have the solution of salts that has the same molality, and we were asked to calculate the boiling point of it except this time. So take a look. Okay, so we have the different types of salts, and we have calcium chloride. We're going to assume we're at the sea level. So once again, so to get the change and the solutions of the boiling point, we take the boiling point constant of 0.512 degrees Celsius per molality. We're going to multiply this by the molality, which is the 1.5. And last but not the least, we need to think about this. What is the Benhigh factor going to be here? Okay, that's the question. If we put this in the water, here is going to dissociate. All of these ions are going to dissociate, and we should end up with 3 ions, right? We have 1 calcium ions here, and we have 2 chloride ions also. That's going to dissociate in 2. Okay, so we're going to multiply this by the Benhigh factor, which is 3. Okay, so I'll put our calculators 0.512 multiplied by 1.5 multiplied by 3 is equals to 2.3 degrees Celsius. So the solutions of the boiling point is going to be changed by 2.3 degrees Celsius. We need to know add this to the boiling point of the water at the sea level, which we know is the 100 degrees Celsius. And we will end up with the boiling point of the solution equaling to 102.3 degrees Celsius. Okay, get it? If you have questions, please feel free to ask through our chat box. Okay? Okay, so the final boiling point of the solution is going to be 102.3 degrees Celsius. So let's take a look a couple more examples using the freezing point. Okay, so another example. Okay, if we take a look here, this is the formula that we're going to use to find the freezing point of the solutions. Okay, so to get the freezing point or to get the change in the freezing point of the aqueous solutions, we take the freezing point constant of the water, which is, as you can see on this formula, the freezing point constant of the water is 1.86 degree Celsius over the per molality times the molality of the solutions times the Benhigh factor. Okay, so this is the very similar to what we just working on. We just do okay earlier. We're working on it, so let's take a look at this example here below. To calculate the freezing point of 0.5 mole of sugar solutions, assuming again that we are at the sea level. So in this problem here, we want to know what is going to freeze the solutions. Okay, the solutions. We must first calculate the change and the freezing point to do this. Okay, so we take the freezing point constant, which is 1.86 86 degrees Celsius per molality, which is says right here, times the molality of the solutions of 0.5 times the Benhigh factor. If you took a look, we're dealing with the sugar. Sugar is the polar, just like discussed earlier. It is not going to dissociate. So 1 bowl of sugar is going to produce a 1 mole of dissolved sugar particles. Okay, so we'll just multiply this by 1. We get a calculator out of 1.86 divided by 1.86 times 0.5, and we end up with 0.93, okay, or 0.9 degrees Celsius. If we're using the correct number of the significant figures, 0.9 degrees Celsius, so this is just the change in the freezing point. So we know the water freezes at the freezing point of the water is equal to the 0 degrees Celsius. We're now going to the subtract, right? This is the depressions that means to lower. So we're going to subtract the 0.9 here from 0, and it looks like the freezing point of the solution is going to be 0.9 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. Yan na. We have the same molality, however, now we are dealing with the salt water. Okay, so salt water na po ito, ha. So which is going to lower the freezing point more, as sugar water solutions or the water solutions? Okay, well, you can imagine, because the Venn factor here is 1, and you know it's going to be 2 here. That salt will in fact decrease the freezing point. So take a look here in order to figure out this. We must first calculate the change in the freezing point. So we take 1.86 degrees Celsius over molality. Okay, times the molality of the solution, which is 0.5 times the Venn factor. If you put this in the water, it's going to dissociate and produce two different particles, right? It's going to dissociate into sodium ions and the chloride ions. So the two different particles, and if we put this in our calculator, we should end up with 186, or we use the correct number of the significant figures. Okay, and we put this in our calculator. I will just we'll ignore the significant figures for this problem. We'll just say 186. Okay, so dun sa kabila. So this is not our final answer to get the freezing point of the solutions. So okay, so here we will take the freezing point of the water, which we know at the sea level to be 0 degrees Celsius, and we'll just subtract 1.86 rather, and we will end up with a negative 1.86 degrees Celsius. Okay, whoops. And that should be negative 6 degrees Celsius. Negative 1.86 degrees Celsius. Okay, so which one is going to lower? Okay, so alam ba dyan which one is going to lower? The freezing point, more sugar water or the salt water, it looks like salt water is going to, in fact, or the salt is going to lower the freezing point more, and in fact most of the salt, okay, is actually used in the icy roads, because it lowers the freezing points of that water, prevents that water from freezing, and prevents many accidents, particularly in the other countries. So ginagamit ito. Okay, so these are the colligative properties, and I hope you found this helpful and meaningful. Okay, so thank you for watching and listening to this video discussion. If you have questions, please feel free to ask to our GC, okay, or message me personally. Okay, so thank you very much, and have a good day.